Ever since Disney bought Star Wars for over a decade now, we have seen the way that Lucasfilm treats Star Wars fans. From the very beginning, they told Star Wars fans they didn't want them. Kathleen Kennedy came out and said, we don't need to pander to you anymore. We're after a different audience. And if you're not down with that, if you have a problem with what we're doing to the Star Wars universe, well, you're just a sexist. You're just a bigot. You're just a racist. We have seen these attacks on Star Wars fans for over a decade now, including from the mainstream media. And so when I saw this headline, it's not like I was surprised by something like this. Star Wars producer calls out toxic fandom attacking Kathleen Kennedy. I thought, oh, here we go again. Another person at Lucasfilm, another person at Star Wars attacking the fan base, calling them toxic simply for caring about the thing that they love. But then I found something else out. As I was reading through this article, saw other people talking about it, and watched the very same video that this article is referencing, I realized that, you know what? The media has also been lying about Star Wars fans for a long time, and it looks like this is yet another media lie. This article, I think the headline's incredibly deceptive because in reality, Tony Gilroy, who's the person that they're talking about in this article, when you watch the video, he's incredibly complimentary of Star Wars fans. He says they have such a passion, they have a love, they care about this stuff so much. And when he goes about creating, he keeps that in mind and wants to do right by them and wants them to accept what he puts out. But this is the headline that the mainstream media is running with. Star Wars producer calls out toxic fandom attacking Kathleen Kennedy. Andor producer slams toxic Star Wars fans. The video I'm going to show you, I don't think you can come away from it thinking that. I really don't, unless you're already preloaded to think that. But just check this out. Speaking with Deadline, Andor head writer / producer Tony Gilroy addressed the toxicity he sees from fans. Tell me if you think this is an accurate representation of this. Let's listen to Tony Gilroy. I guess this interview was recorded sometime in May, like early in May, before the strike and all that stuff. But here we go.
The Star Wars universe, those fans out there, the internet, anytime you get into something like this, you're fighting against that even before you've written a word, you know. And the pressure on you as a writer, I'm just curious, do you care? Does it bother you or does it energize you?
Now the guy who's asking the question absolutely wants him to slam fans. That's what he wants. Tony Gilroy takes a little bit different approach.
To do right by them as well, or what they expect, or take them into a direction they didn't expect.
It was shocking on Rogue because I didn't really have any exposure when Rogue happened and everything that happened. I was really blown back by what was going on and this.
And in case you forgot, not only is he working on Andor, he obviously was on Rogue One as well. Tony Gilroy.
Thing that I hadn't paid attention to. So I knew about it when I came back. I knew what to expect. You have to realize about that community that their passion is they love this thing so much. The hardcore, deepest you have within that community. You have Shiites and Sunnis and Kurds, and you have all kinds of people who have different. But their love of the show and their love of what it means to them is something that you really have to pay attention to. So my attitude has been, and the attitude of the show is, as far out there as we get, and as much as we bend the tone and the idea of what to do, we could never, ever be cynical about it. We have to take it more seriously than anybody's ever taken it. We're never winking. We're never kidding it. And so we have this mix of people who know nothing about Star Wars on our show, and then we have a bunch of people on the show that are huge nerds, and it's the marriage of knowledge and history mixed with a real ambition to take it someplace else with a hopefully respect for, I want the respect of that audience. Now I'm going to let him finish here in a second, but I wanted to stop. Did you hear what he is saying? Like, they're passionate about this stuff. They love this stuff. They want it to be great. So everything we do, the way that we make it, this is Tony Gilroy speaking. I can't say that's the same attitude for the rest of Lucasfilm, certainly. But this is just specifically Tony Gilroy. What his approach is he wants to have respect for that. He wants to do right by the source material and by the fan base, and he wants people to love it, and hopefully that it comes out the right way. I think that's what most people want. That's what most people are asking for. It's very similar to the way that Henry Cavill spoke about toxic fandom when asked that question, saying that fans are passionate. They're going to voice their concerns. They love this stuff. They care about this stuff so much, and he wants to make them happy and hope that they like what he's done by honoring everything. Now, he is going to mention Kathleen Kennedy here in a second. I do read what they, there's no way of doing it and not being controversial.
Yeah.
There's no way. It's impossible. And Kathy's job is like, I mean, you don't want to be Kathy and ever open the internet. It's just, I mean, what she goes through and it's been on for years, So
she's amazing. She's amazing.
You got to be you have pretty thick skin to do that. But I pay attention. I don't think we've made any real adjustments because of it, but it's been interesting to watch.
Did you have?
Now, that brief aside while speaking about Kathleen Kennedy, you don't want to be Kathleen Kennedy on the internet. You got to have really thick skin to get through that every day, but she does it. That is what they decided to turn into this headline. And/or producer slams toxic Star Wars fans. Listen, I think I'm all for holding Lucasfilm accountable, holding creators accountable. I don't think what Tony Gilroy said was that. I don't think he was slamming toxic fans. Did he mention that Kathleen Kennedy gets a lot of criticism just like everyone else because so many people care about this thing? That's exactly what he said. But did he say that it's toxic, or did he say that these people care about Star Wars so much? They love this thing. And that when he creates things, he wants to do right and make those people happy. Like, holy shit. I was so ready to make another video about a Lucasfilm creator slamming Star Wars fans, but at the end of the day, I just don't think that's what this was. I think this is the case of the mainstream media desperately trying to convince people that that's what he said, when in reality, he said that no, passionate fans, it's because they love this thing. And a little aside about Kathleen Kennedy and that it might be rough for her on the internet because there's been so many decisions that people don't like. That's certainly true. But I don't think that Tony Gilroy was attacking toxic Star Wars fans or anything like that. What do you guys think? I'm interested to know your thoughts. When I look at Rogue One and Andor, both of those things, I feel similarly about both of them. I think they're okay. I don't think they're super compelling, and I maybe don't like some of the decisions that they made in terms of tone, in terms of the characters, and in terms of when they decided to set this thing, especially when they erased a lot of expanded universe stories that I love that completely explained all of this stuff. But at the same time, he is far from the worst creative that they have at Lucasfilm. And clearly, from the sound of it, it sounds like he does have a respect for a passionate fan base. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.